I remembered that I had a channel that blew up during a period in my life a while ago, pretty similar to my current situation. I was going through a health issue triggered by alcohol abuse, balance problems, spots in my eyes, ringing in my ears, limbs wouldn't move right. I would have multiple panic attacks every single day for weeks. So I convinced myself that I actually had multiple sclerosis or something weird, because the blind spots, all the weird feelings with my limbs, the tingling, the numbness. I was convinced. I must have seen a dozen doctors, but none of them had any explanations. They said, "Oh, you're fine. We can't find anything wrong with you." I had my brain scanned with a contrast MRI. They found nothing. They were looking for lesions, couldn't find any lesions. I had given up. And when you hit that low, your instincts kind of kick in and your body enters into survival mode, and you're kind of like, you find purpose and meaning in the smallest things. So that's the kind of magical thing that happened to me. That's what I needed. I needed a purpose. That was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. Something was happening globally. It was a global event, pretty controversial. It was happening in Europe and in my country. So I started a channel on YouTube to distract me and to keep me sane. And I was very, very, very dedicated. I uploaded one video or multiple videos every single day for months. At the end, I had close to 200 videos, and that channel actually ended up doing really well. It got like 1 million views total. And man, did it grow, like exponent, like a snowball. It was snowball every single day. That snowball of views just grew and grew and grew, and it was a surreal experience. I just remembered a few days ago when I started my channel and I found myself in that same pit. I instantly remembered that time 10 years ago when I had that patterned episode of drinking. I was abusing wine at the time, but that's a different story. I was drinking up to a gallon of wine a day for weeks, and that's when the symptoms started. And I just remembered that time. Just automatically remembered how good it felt to have that distraction. It was therapeutic, man. It literally healed me, physically and mentally. And sure, even though I realized that I got lucky because I latched onto a trend, and it wasn't even my original work. I was just translating videos, wasn't even using my voice or my face as I'm doing now. And even though I realized that I got lucky and that's why the channel exploded, it showed me that it was possible to grow that snowball, and that's the most important lesson. Not a lot of people have that experience, so they don't believe naturally. If you don't have that experience, what you really need is very simple, and that's just someone else to show you that it's possible, someone who's already done it. Could be a small YouTuber, could be a friend, a relative who's done something, just to show you that this is possible so that you can start believing. Many years ago, just to give you context on how I started believing through someone else's experience, many years ago I needed someone to show me that it was possible because I was only 19. I didn't really have much life experience at that time. I had just went abroad to study. I didn't believe yet. And it's how I made my first money at 19. I hadn't worked a job. Luckily my family was supportive enough to where I didn't have to work through my teen years. So my roommate that I lived with, he was a flipper. He would flip electronics, bikes, cars, whatever online. One evening before going to bed, I saw a bunch of laptops on the kitchen table, and I thought nothing of it. I was like, he's flipping things. When I woke up in the morning, I just saw a pile of cash, just a stack of cash, just spilling over the table. I asked him, "What's going on, man? Well, did you sell them?" He was like, "Yep." This is just like nonchalant, like, "Yep." You know how it is. That's what I do. I remember at the time I was running out of cash and I didn't have enough money for next month's rent. So I was like, "Bro, can you show me how you do it? I want to do it because I want to pay rent." He's like, "Sure, man." Just a few hours later, I had exchanged all my money for a laptop and put the ad online in the evening. And in the morning, I had already sold it. And I couldn't believe it because I sold it for a few $100 extra. And I couldn't believe it. Blew my mind that I made money out of thin air. And I remember just biking back home on my bicycle. At every traffic light, I would stop you know, and I would pull the money out of my pocket and I would count it like, oh, is it real? Is it actually real? Do I really have that extra? And I'll put it back in my pocket. I'll drive for a bit, pull the money out of my pocket, you know, count it kind of feverishly. Whoa, whoa, it's real, it's real. And I just remember feeling so euphoric that I kept doing it and reinvesting that money and buying more stuff, more phones, more laptops, more bikes, and just reselling them and reselling and growing that snowball. I just remembered that how addictive this feeling is, the snowball effect. So it could be with alcohol. You could snowball alcohol and drink yourself to insane levels, but you could snowball into something that's good for you. So that's what I'm trying to do with this channel. Although I find myself back in a tough predicament with alcohol a decade later, I keep reminding myself of these little successes. And you may fail a lot, but all it takes is just that one time. All it takes is that little flame to re-warm your body when you're feeling cold, you know, symbolically, metaphorically. So I'm starting this channel from a better place now. I'm not at -1 like I was with my previous channel. I'm not doing it to kind of distract myself from the issues because I've already, you know, solved them. I'm healthy. And I'm working towards +1 now with this channel. I've been on YouTube pretty much since its inception. I'm 33 years old. I've been on YouTube since 2005, 2006. Despite all the thousands of hours of videos that I've consumed, I have learned absolutely nothing technical in those 20-ish years of watching videos, but I did learn one thing from my channel. I gotta make a move eventually. And if I'm genuine and consistent, and I hope I do come across this way, I know for a fact that my crowd will find me. And I don't want to niche myself into this alcohol thing. It's more like it's more like a snowball effect thing. It's more like I just enjoy. This channel is about the high of growing, the high of multiplication. And despite still struggling, you know, to overcome the embarrassment when I write the scripts, man, I feel so cringe when I write them and I have to rewrite them, and they sound one way in your head, and when you set up the camera and when you're on a public path in nature, you know, you think people passing by, it just sounds different. I'm struggling with the embarrassment, and this is my first video where I'm mostly freestyling it. So little improvements every single day is what makes the snowball grow. So despite talking into a camera not being second nature for me, despite struggling to overcome that embarrassment, I know that if I'm consistent and genuine, I will get eyeballs and I will get ears. Because I asked myself a question recently, very recently. If I can make myself literally, physically and mentally sick with negative thoughts, with negative delusions, why can't I not make myself successful with positive delusions? I understand that getting eyeballs in ears to my videos will be a lot harder this time, but now I believe, because I have that experience, because I've done it before, because I've already been there. And now I want to pass it on to you. And I don't mean to sound like, you know, I don't want this to come off as, oh, look at this dude, who does he think he is? He's only got like 100 views on his video. Who does this dude think he is? I still have my screenshots from that other channel and the little AdSense envelope that they send you in the mail. But anyway, I don't mean to come off as, you know, arrogant or anything like that. Just, I want to be an inspiration to myself primarily, you know, just to remind myself. 'Cause sometimes when you're in that pit, all you got to do is write down, just remember, think back on your life and write down your achievements. And that's what I did when I was going through another tough time, but when I lived abroad and studied abroad, but that's a different video. Anyway, I just sat down and I wrote down chapters of my life, and I was just very brief, just a sentence for each month, just to know where I was, what I was doing, who I was doing it with. And at the end of the year, you know, when you sit down and look through that list, you're kind of like, wow, I'm not a loser. I've actually done some things. I'm not a complete failure, you know, and it feels good. Plus, it has the added benefit that now that you've written it down somewhere, stored it on a flash drive or something, now you take that load off your brain, so your brain no longer has to store it, and you end up forgetting it, but you still have ways to come back to it. And you know, to tie it in with the alcohol drinking, alcohol did the other half of the work by physically erasing my memories, but that's a different topic. So now I want to pass on that kind of experience and that kind of hope and belief. I want to pass it on to you. You know those videos that start with a shot of the creators $50,000 worth of equipment showing off their dedicated mansion with a 4K drone footage of their personal water park, telling you how they're struggling to get views? Like, bro, I'm 5 seconds into your video and I'm already demoralized. If you can't make it, if you're struggling, how am I supposed to make it with my Android phone and my tripod made out of recycled tin cans? Or those motivational videos where you vicariously live through someone else's success and create none of your own. Because it feels like these creators that we watch nowadays, the popular ones, they just set the bar so high that I never thought to do the one simple thing that actually separated me and us from them and got them where they are today. Just to hit that record button. That simple.